All right, we are back. Dynasty Trades in 5. I'm Clay.
All right, all right, all right. I'm Shane.
I am Scott. I'm ready for this one.
All right, so we're talking about Davante Adams tonight. Obviously, some questions around him. I mean, he totally smashes, but is he going to be around? Is Aaron Rodgers going to be around? He turns 29 on Christmas Eve. Happy early birthday! But Shane, you start us off. What do you think about Davante Adams?
Oh, I love that people are still doubting him. He had like what, 2 full seasons where people were like, Davante Adams is great. And the rest of his career, everyone's either told you that he's getting ready to go over the hill because he'll be 29 next year. He might lose Aaron Rodgers. I got news for people. Aaron Rodgers will be more hurt if they split up than Davante Adams will, because Davante Adams is an absolute football stud. He's like Michael Thomas, except good at football. So he's not only a target hog, he is dynamite with the ball in his hands. He is one of the few players in all fantasy football that's actually consistent. We always hope for consistency. That's Davante Adams. Before Cooper Kupp was doing it this year for the first time in his career, Davante Adams scores 15 points a game every game. It's just what he does. Like his floor is 15. If he gives you 15, you're like, what are you doing here, dude? Like I expect much better. If your trade deadline is already passed, which it probably has in some of your leagues, sorry, playing better leagues, you'll have to wait till the offseason, which is probably good because his value will be reduced. Because you have guys like me that are trading premium for him right now because I'm in the playoffs and I'd like to win a title.
Well, that was a lot. Shane definitely is higher on Davante Adams than me. Actually, and you know what? I wouldn't say he's higher than him on me. I just think the trade market for Adams, and we'll talk a little bit about some trades examples with him. The trade market for him, it seems like it's very polarizing. Like he should be the type of player that you can go out and say, oh, well, he's going to be 29. You should just sell him to me. And like a year or two ago, that would have worked. We talked about this before with some prior players that it was easy to kind of buy the over the hill or the guys that were hitting that age apex at receiver. Was able to go easily able to go acquire them in the past, and now it's like you go try to buy Adams, and it's like, yeah, he's a top 5 dynasty receiver for me. Like that's what the person will say in response, and I'm like, well, top 5, okay, you got Metcalf, Chase, Lamb, Jefferson, Tyreek. Like, where does he fit in the top 5 here? And really, they don't mean top 5. It's just kind of like, I'm not reducing his value because he's going to be 29. Like I'm not lowering the cost for you to acquire him to where basically you're paying the same price you would pay to acquire AJ Brown or DK Metcalf. And you're like, okay, do I really want to pay that price for the guy that's 29 when I can get the guy that's 23? So I think he's just in that weird range where, do you prefer him over Tyreek or Diggs when you get an extra 2 or 3 years with those guys? Maybe. I think he's a buy, but it's hard to buy him. Like he'd still be in my top 10, but like you can't just go get him for like a first and a second. You get laughed at, and then you're kind of like, do I want to pay 2+ first for him? Yeah, I don't know.
So would you go, let's go from old to young here. Would you go Davante Adams or Elijah Moore and call it the 2022 106?
That's a great trade, Clay. You're stumping me. 10 starters, 12 team 10.
12 team, super flex, 10 starters.
Oh, man. That is tough. If you tell me I'm getting the wide receiver 1 in the class at 106 and I have 2 shots at maybe getting a top, 15 or better receiver going forward, I think you could argue that. But you could also use that 106 on a second round running back and it ends up being a blah, you know what I mean? And then you're going, man, I wish I just had the stud.
Davante Adams or Javonte Williams?
Ooh.
So here's my thinking with this, right? Running backs, and I just made this point in another chat. Running backs, their elite window is what, 3 to 4 years? Age 25, 26 is when they decline. And that's if we think he's going to be elite. So is 3 to 4 years of elite Javonte Williams okay or acceptable compared to another 2 seasons plus these playoffs of elite production from what's his name? Davante Adams. Because that's generally what you get from elite wide receivers.
I think the elite production window for a running back can actually be longer if they're a really good player. If you get a Nick Chubb or Derrick Henry, like you can get 5, 6, 7 years out of them but their value is going to crater when they get to like year 4 or year 5. No longer are you going to be able to hold that blue chip asset. That's the thing with Javonte is, would you be shocked if you see some deals, Javonte for AJ Brown, Javonte for Jamar Chase? Like, you can see those happening in the spring. So I think that might lean the Javonte side, just because I think there's going to be a window maybe in the next 6 to 12 months where it's name any receiver in Dynasty and I can get him for Javonte Williams versus Davante Adams straight up now. So maybe I'm leaving a little money on the table by doing that deal.
Let's go Davante Adams and a mid 22 second, or T Higgins and a 23 first.
Oh, come on, Clay. You know me too well. That's easily Higgins in the first.
I like Higgins so much. I feel like can you name a different wide receiver?
Claypool.
That's a good one. I like Claypool, but I think Higgins is, at least the last month, Higgins is one of the guys that's not the best receiver on his team, but you could still argue he's a top 12 receiver in Dynasty. So he's one of those where, like, even though he's the number 2 on his team, I think he's been able to kind of break through that too. So that's an easy pivot from Adams to Higgins. That Higgins could be more valuable than Adams here in 12 months. So